Welcome to Scattercast episode 12. Welcome, everybody. This is your host, Dirt McGurts. And with me, as usual, today we have Gainer, Theodius, and Pootnannies. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Let's introduce everybody at the same time. It's less awkward going around the table. I hope everybody's doing well. Let's go around the table though for a minute, and we're just gonna, just see how everyone's doing. Start with you, Gainer. What have you been up to this week? Have you been playing anything new? Watching anything?
Been watching my regular series, WandaVision, all that. Also, I've been playing Cyber Shadow. That's something new that I started this week. But like my other games too, Animal Crossing and Guilty Gear, like I've been playing before.
Are you playing a game right now?
I am playing the game right now. Yes.
You're literally playing. I hear the clicking of the
Clickety-clackety,
controller.
clickety-clackety.
So you can't be bothered to stop even during a recording. That's.
Oh, it's that good game.
You know what? They do it on IGN all the time.
How about you, Theodius? Been watching anything this week? Playing anything new?
Caught up on WandaVision.
Cool. We'll talk about that later too.
Catching up on today actually was the Royal Rumble, but since my girl's not here, we usually normally watch together. We'll have to watch it on Wednesday.
Oh, you gotta hold it. You're gonna avoid spoilers until then?
We have to avoid spoilers. That means I have to wait to watch Monday Night Raw.
Well, how about if I just tell you? Can I tell you who
Go
won?
ahead.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Was it Goldberg?
Everything. Paul Bearer did it.
You know,
The Rock.
passed,
The
right?
Rock won.
The Rock is too busy with his company.
Yeah.
Yes.
He came
He's
back.
supposed to show up at WrestleMania though.
He came back for Royal Rumble one earlier.
Like cool person that says I'll be there for it, and then they never do show up.
Who's that?
Junior.
Just like I do that sometimes.
You do that? You show up to WrestleMania?
No, but I tell people come to my party, and then they don't. They say they'll be there, and then they don't come. 'Cause
Oh. Is that why your apartment's always empty?
yes,
I
Yeah.
love you.
How about you, Poop? Been playing anything? Watching anything?
Just Cyber Shadow and Sea of Thieves.
Ah, nice. How's Cyber Shadow? I know Junior just talked about it too, but what are you guys thinking of it? How far are y'all?
I like it. It's very
I'm playing it
old
right
school.
now with the Xbox Pass. I think I'd rather prefer to play it like on my Switch because it seems like to me like a good handheld game. It's the type of games I like where you play through the first time through, but you know there's lots of stuff you miss because you don't have the skills for it yet, and you have to play through it again.
So you have to
I like
play
it.
through the entire game. It's not like a Metroidvania. You can just go back to that level.
Go back to the level. There's like a
Yeah,
level.
you can. But it's like Contra, but with a ninja.
It's a run and slash.
Yeah, it's similar to Contra except without you got a sword. So there's like stuff that blows up, and I mean it's not totally Contra, but it's I can tell they were inspired by Contra.
It's very mechanical. Like it's not.
Yeah,
Not.
it's not as
Eastern-
much of an old school.
Mechanical.
I don't know. It doesn't remind me of Ninja Gaiden so much as it does.
Contra is what first jumps out at you.
Yeah, not that it doesn't play in some areas. Like it's just not a fast-paced game like Ninja Gaiden was, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But then they throw stuff in there like later on in the game they threw in what do you call it, platforming. So there's a lot more of that later.
Oh, not so much in the beginning.
No.
Okay.
After you get your initial set of skills, you unlock another set all at once, and
Oh
I
yeah.
don't want to give it away, but yeah, that changes the game a great deal. So,
Okay. So it's kind of spoilery though. You can't say it.
I mean, I could say I don't know. Is Junior? Do you care?
It's
La
fine.
la 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 la.
It's that big of a change like in Messenger.
Ooh, does
Not
Messenger have a
that
big change?
Big, oh, kind of. I mean, it's not like that. It's just that. Think of it that now all your moves are supered and you get a double jump.
I like double jumps.
So now the game, you have to time everything for one jump. Now you got to think of everything as double jump and running and air slashing and all your moves that you will unlock. They have a super version of it by holding down the button.
Ah.
So that changes the way the game plays.
Like EX version.
Yeah, it's like an EX version. It's a cool game. It almost reminds me of that. What's that 360 Ninja game?
Ninja
It wasn't the new Ninja Gaiden. It was like
Ninja 5.0.
No, it wasn't Ninja 5. I can't remember the name of it. I have it
It's
somewhere.
3D, 3D or 2D.
Yeah, it's 3D. Um, but it's like you could power up and stuff. This is like a 2D version of it.
Okay. So yeah, I've also watched WandaVision, which I guess we can talk about as well, and some Sea of Thieves, and I guess that's about it this week. I haven't played much else. I have seen this. I've seen this trailer. I was just talking to the guys about it. Theodius. I don't know why it makes me think of you. It's called Nuts, and it's a you're a lab technician, something like that, from a university, who goes out into a forest, and you have to track squirrels. You have to track like their whereabouts, where they're hiding their nuts, and what they're doing. But it just seems like you, because it's like you in Phasmophobia. You set up all these cameras amongst the woods, and you go back to your truck, and you watch the footage. You have to see where they're going, and there's sensors. I'm like, dude, this is Teddy in Phasmophobia game. But it seems pretty interesting. And then there's like a mystery behind the squirrels too. So it's not just like normal squirrels. The art style's kind of different. I don't know. I guess it could put people off, but it's.
And what is that on?
It's called Nuts. It's coming out for Switch and Steam, and I think Apple Arcade.
I'm gonna have to look at it.
Yeah.
Check it out.
But I was just thinking if they can apply that kind of game, because I like the Phasmophobia, the whole surveillance part of it, towards like hunting some kind of beast in the woods. I think that would have been so much cooler. But who knows? Maybe the squirrel thing will be kind of cool. All right, yeah. So today we're going to be we'll talk about WandaVision, episode 4 recap. But then we'll go into it's been all over the internet this week. Can't escape it, and we can't escape it also. The Wall Street Bets versus Robin Hood versus Citadel and all these corps. Just kind of give a little rundown of what's it about and our opinions about it. It's pretty interesting, and I think we can give our thoughts on it. And then we're going to talk about Konami. So there's rumors that Konami has shut down, and Konami has said that they haven't. So we'll kind of dive deeper into that and give a little introspective. So with that, let's start. So WandaVision Season 4, what do you guys all think?
Episode 4? I thought it was
4. Obviously, Junior hated it because he only likes the sitcom part of it. Right, Gainer?
No, I didn't hate it. I'm fine with. I like the sitcom part of it, and I like this part of it as well. You must have just loved it because it had no sitcom really in it.
I loved it. Yes, I did. I liked it because it felt like an MCU show.
Mm-hmm.
And if I really wanted to watch sitcoms,
movies that you can watch.
There's this cool channel with Leon Gainer called TV Land.
Yeah,
you can watch old sitcoms.
Yes, I do. There's also like Me TV.
Yeah.
Cozy.
So you can go and just watch those. Or if you want to watch MCU shows, we should be able to watch an MCU show.
Or if you want to see an MCU movie, just watch an MCU movie.
Yes, I wanted to see an MCU TV series.
Different and blending it, and I think it adds to the show. I mean, if it's just another MCU show, like they just continue on.
There's never been an MCU show. This is the first.
Shield had little ties into it.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I liked it. Yeah, there was a couple of episodes that kind of tied in. They brought one of the ladies from Asgard over, and she helped out with a couple of
missions. What's her name? What's her name with the S? Lady Sid?
Seraph, or something like that.
Yeah.
Her. The the lady from Thor. And they did have to deal with the whole falling out after Hydra came out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, with so the fall of Hydra, and I'm still working on the final season. The final season was really weird with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Is Agent Carter an MCU show?
It was part. Yes, it was because it was part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They intermingled and did a lot of cross.
Agent Carter deals directly with, like, afterwards. I mean, there's the whole Sousa thing, like how if that ties in with what's his name going back in time with the Stones. But I think that's an MCU show.
I guess you're right.
So at one point they did say something about how they were separating it from a different show, so they could just be in a different dimension in a different Earth than the Earth. I can't remember what Earth. We're not Earth 1. We're like Earth 356 or 365 or something like that. I can't remember.
Isn't that DC though?
No, DC has different Earths too, but there is Prime Earth and there's different Earths.
Earth 616 is the prime continuity in the Marvel comics.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So let's talk about.
They may just be different. What you call it? But go ahead.
So let's talk about the episode of what is going on with Westville. So it's a real town that exists in the world, right?
Yes, and everybody within the town and within a radius around the town kind of is brainwashed as to what's going on. Really, they know that.
So those sheriffs that they see in the beginning, do they go into the town or they're just like?
Nope.
No, I think they turned around and went the opposite direction.
So no one else is going in. They don't even know what a Westville is.
No,
they do. They're from Westville.
They're from Eastville, right?
They're from Eastville.
Are they from the other?
Well, that's what they ask them. It says, "What's Westville?" There is no Westville. Well, where are you from? I'm from Eastville. They're probably from Westville, but they just.
Well, that was just saying that it's the bubble. The confusion of the bubble so far out that if you're not in the bubble, it's going to tell you that don't belong here. You belong somewhere else, even if you do belong in that bubble. But when the bubble was formed outside, that's when nobody wanted to get near it. Nobody was going near the bubble because its influence.
That's what he said. There's a feeling that you don't want to get there. But are the people inside, those missing people who are the characters now, are those Westview people, or are they just people who were dragged in?
No, they were Westview people. The town existed, and I guess she went there as a undercover, protection, and something happened and took over.
Oh, do you think was Wanda the one that was under witness protection?
I'm probably so, because she was so distraught after what happened. I think she went into hiding, and they tried to sort of just keep an eye on her.
I wonder what's the timeline, because the blip happened and 5 years later people came back.
3 months after the Hulk snapped that this is going on. 3 weeks.
After the Hulk snap or Tony snap?
Hulk, because Hulk snapped everybody back.
Hulk snapped everyone back. Tony got rid of Thanos.
That's right. So Hulk snap.
So Hulk snapped everybody back. So that's what, and I love that they showed, because I've always wondered, like, what happened when everybody came back? I mean, what was it like? It must have been pandemonium.
Yeah, people just I did like, especially in Spider-Man. Did you watch Spider-Man Far From Home?
I think, yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah, it's pandemonium. Like, people got on with their lives. Like, people who lost their husbands and wives got remarried, stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, boom, their spouses are back.
And for them, it's just been a day. Like, I was there, and we were at the altar. We were saying "I do," and now I appear in my room with you in a bed with another lady. What's going on?
Yeah, Maria Rambeau died. Her mom died. Monica's.
Yeah, but it's just because the cancer returned. It's not like she died 2 years later. She ended up dying.
Yeah, so it's just kind of. She took that well. She's like, "What? She can't be dead." She was just more caught up with the return of everything.
Definitely. But it was interesting to see
and
that. We still got to figure out the hexagons.
So what's going on? So things that are like not time appropriate are changing their design when they go in there. Because even asked Darcy, she said, "Oh, because why did the chopper change?" She said to match the production design.
Yeah. So remember the tether turned into a jump rope.
The guy in the hazmat suit turned into a beekeeper.
He turned into a beekeeper, because that's the closest thing that would look like something that belongs in that era. Yeah. Most people from those eras never really seen a hazmat suit, so they've probably seen a beekeeper.
Yeah, so they changed it from a hazmat to a beekeeper suit. I thought those are pretty neat touches.
Yeah, and and that adds to the if you think about it in the long run, everything that in that bubble that is created, therefore is real. So even though what's his name is dead, remember when she saw the way he looked?
Yeah.
She looked down again. He's real, because everything created in that bubble is real.
Do you think she went and got his corpse and reanimated it, or do you think that's
maybe she took his body, flew away with it, and then and she got so distraught? Maybe what's his name? The monster that they're dealing with.
Thanos?
Not Thanos. That's Sinestro. What's his name?
Oh, starts with an M? Monstro? Mephisto?
Mephisto.
Yeah, Mephisto.
Is it Mephisto?
Yeah,
Well,
that's the
whoever it
character.
is,
Yeah, Mephisto.
whoever it is maybe influencing Wanda, but it's this is leading up to saying that those twins are real, regardless of maybe she created them, but everything she creates inside
And
that bubble is real. It is real. So those twins, that's what they're
and that's
leading
probably going to be
into.
the climax. I mean, she lost Vision. She knows Vision's dead, but if she has to give up the town, she's probably going to have to give up her kids. And I think that's going to be like,
Yeah,
it's going
But
to
our
be
kids
there's
aren't
not.
real.
But everything's
They're
real
real.
in there.
They're not real.
everything's real in there.
They're
Everything
only
is
real
real.
things about them.
There was an
What?
interesting thing. Some parts of the streaming, how Darcy's watching the stream on the outside, it skipped over some parts that we see in the first 3 episodes. Like when she sent out Geraldine and stuff.
Or the crushing of the hand by Dottie.
Yeah, and the crushing of the hand, all that. It kind of got cut out. Or even the radio, when they're trying to talk to the radio, like, Wanda, who did this to you? What we saw in the episode got cut out of what they're watching.
Yeah, they were just doing a sort of a quick overview and showing you the parts that were important and where they caught in on what was going on inside. So it may have not been accurate to what we saw, but we were seeing what nobody else was meant to see. We're the third person looking in, so we're watching what they were not really. What they saw is not what we saw. What we saw is not what they saw. You see what I'm saying?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's just it's we're watching.
We're watching what's
story
really
unfold,
happening. We're not watching.
Yeah, we're watching what's really happening, but what they saw is exactly what they saw. So it's going to look different than what we saw. It's kind of like we got the director's cut, but what they got is it's edited for Fox afternoon movies.
The following content has been edited.
Yeah.
Can we say that Darcy's pretty good?
I don't.
She's
care for
awesome.
You don't like
Darcy?
her? I love Darcy.
No, I
I
didn't
like
like her in the
Darcy.
first.
I liked her in
movie.
Thor.
I don't
like her.
No, it's just like she was being rude to that guy for no reason, belittling him, attacking. It's like, who are you?
Kind of. Yeah, that's
She's
true.
like trying to get people to get her some coffee. It's like, get your own coffee.
She never got that coffee.
The guy that was mean to her.
She deserved that coffee. She can get her own coffee. I just didn't like her.
How about Wu then? Do you like Wu? I like him.
Who?
The detective Wu.
Yeah, I liked him from
Ant-Man.
and he finally got his magic down.
Yeah, he did the card trick. You saw that?
Yeah. So I'm wondering what that's going to lead to. Because if Doctor Strange shows up and he tries to do some magic, and Doctor Strange's like, "That's not magic. That's not knife. This is a knife."
Oh my
Type of
gosh.
thing. So that'd be funny, that
Dundee.
interaction when Doctor Strange shows up on here, which I think he is. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping he is, but it's leading up to that. This is leading up to Multiverse of Madness. So I'm just wondering how. I'm thinking that when this thing expands, it's going to expand so much, it's going to create a Multiverse of Madness, which Doctor Strange is going to have to come in and say, "Look, Wanda, snap out of it. You're being used by this person. Let's go beat his butt." And so then they have to go to work together to beat Mephisto or whoever it is in this. So that's what I'm thinking. It's going to
be interesting.
And in this expansion, it's going to create the mutants.
So you don't think it's going to be resolved in this TV series? It's going to be resolved.
Oh no! This TV series is going to lead right into the Multiverse of Madness. This TV is going to be a cliffhanger. I think they're going to resolve something in this show, but it's going to close the door and open the window for.
And it's definitely just going to be a 1-season show. I don't see sequels to WandaVision.
And if they do put her in, she's going to be in another movie or show up in another show. Because they have the Winter Soldier, they have Nick Cannon, not Nick Cannon. Why did I say
Nick Fury. Nick Cannon.
They have Nick Fury show supposedly. They have a couple other shows that are going to be leading into movies. So it's exciting and it's a lot of speculation out there. A lot of speculation that can go.
I'm looking forward to next episode. So Geraldine, Miss Rambeau. Do you think she's under a spell, or is she pretending to fit in? Like keeping character?
When she was inside the dome?
Yeah, in the bubble.
When she was in the bubble, no, I think the bubble it persuades you. She didn't know she was confused. But when Wanda was confused and was waning, when she lost her focus thinking about her brother, it allowed that spell to break just enough for what's her name to kind of come back to reality and say, "Yeah, your brother was killed by so and so." And she was like, "What? Wait a minute, no." You're not supposed to be here because everybody here is definitely under my spell, and you just spoke about something you're not supposed to. So leave.
So
So
she
I'm thinking,
wasn't conscious acting as an agent of Shield. She was kind of in the
yeah, she
spell.
just got lost in the moment, just like when all the helicopter changed, when
Okay.
the jump rope changed, she changed
She
to
fit the
fit that
production.
area.
Okay.
But because she wasn't made when the area was made, it she wasn't, she was able to wax and wane like Wanda did, and Wanda helped her pull her kind of like,
Okay.
hey,
Makes sense.
she got caught up in Wanda's wake of remembrance. And
Do
but yeah, this is Wanda's right here. What's his name said? What's the guy? Feige said that he's gonna make Wanda like uh um um epic level, like all out X-Men Wanda. I'm talking about this whole reality shaping. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, because I
And
guess
he said,
in the
yeah,
comics she's basically the most powerful
one of
of
the
the
most powerful. There
Avengers.
you got molecular, not molecular,
Of the
molecular man.
Avengers,
You have in the Avengers, no, not
because
even.
they've kind of
One
nerfed,
of them, but there are so many.
because they kind of nerfed Hulk. Hulk's not as strong as he is in the
Yeah,
comics.
they did, and they could. His strength depends on how mad he gets,
Yeah.
and as he gets mad, that radiation starts pouring out of him more and more, and then he can get bigger, and he can. I mean, look what they did to what's his name? Darwin. You can't kill Darwin, but they killed him.
Oh, in the X-Men.
The X-Men
Yeah, I was like,
class was it?
that right there, just like it killed me because I was like, Darwin is. How are they gonna do this? Darwin can't die, and he just put that thing in his mouth, and I was like, no, that
I
no,
forgot all about that. It was like the very first X-Men. He dies like in the first 2 hours or something
yeah, I
of
was
the
like,
first
and
class.
you can't kill him. Like right now, the last time I was reading up on Darwin, he was floating in outer space because his body just had morphed into this omnipotent mass. Not really omnipotent, but omnipotent. Yeah,
Yeah.
omnipotent mass of
Impotent.
not
Impotent.
not important, omnipotent.
All right, so moving on. But I'll start with an introduction, then I'll let Poontani's kind of take it over. So this week, crazy week, I'm sure you guys have seen this everywhere. Wall Street. So Wall Street bets. Oh, there's this Reddit page, and they've kind of decided to go against the big boys, and they kind of this collab with the internet. Everybody worked together to kind of take down, big Wall Street companies, and at the same time, that make some cash themselves. Can you go into some more details, Poot? Start from the beginning if you can.
I mean, I'm not a professional in
Yeah.
in this sort of thing because it's Wall Street,
Yeah.
but
But I know you've been reading
um,
about it. I'll chime in too because I've been reading about it too. But
yeah, and there's a lot of terms and stuff that I don't understand yet, but it seems that
so
the
let's start,
impression is there that
so let's start from the beginning. So there's GameStop is the first kind of they're getting shorted, majorly shorted. So this Citadel, correct, is taking a bet that GameStop's going to lose money on their stock.
yeah,
So
and this is kind of normal, like short investors. They kind of have their purpose because they
yeah,
kind
and
of have to
GameStop's
break
not
down
rare.
a company and its worth.
Big companies try to short, businesses all the time. If they think a company's their stock price is gonna go down, they bet on them going
They
down.
borrow the shares and try to get So they try to do that with GameStop because GameStop is one of the last. It's probably the last brick and mortar game store
Yeah,
in the United States at
and I
least.
know they got a new CEO a little while ago, so maybe they might have bumped up. Look like they're gonna try to go in a new direction.
Yeah, I think they could do that, going mostly online, sort of thing.
But it looked like their stock was going to go down, so this company poured a bunch of money to try to short them into thinking that their stock was going to go lower.
It was multiple hedge funds.
Yeah,
that did
multiple ones.
And
which is pretty common. This kind of stuff happens all the time.
going up. I mean, the way they do it is they it's so weird because one is one is blaming the other. So Wall Street Bets blames them for manipulating the market, and they blame Wall Street Bets for manipulating the market using social media and stuff like that.
But technically they both kind of were.
Yeah, technically they kind of both were, but Wall Street Bets was mostly. It's very how would you say very transparent. Like they're not hiding anything because they can't.
Yeah,
Everybody's got to give information for it to be on there.
Yeah.
And so they were just saying, hey, they've been doing this against brick and mortar stores for a long time, saying that retail's dead, but yet retail doesn't die. So they started saying, well, this is what happened in 2008. It's very similar to that. Is betting against something, and letting these companies make these huge shorts where it's just they sort of manipulate the market because there's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
And they make tons of money off of it.
So these people,
and they don't care who gets hurt. They don't care who goes out of business. And so it was a very David and Goliath kind of thing this time around.
Yeah, because these people on Reddit, they decided, hey, let's not let them short it. If the stock doesn't go down, then they're going to lose money.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. They told them to not just. They were just telling people to buy the shares and don't sell them.
Yeah.
So people bought the shares, they didn't sell them, and now they're through the roof.
And the stock kept going.
Want to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have gotten rich all of a sudden.
So the stock price went up and up, and it was like $10 in October. Now it's over $330.
Oh, maybe even more than. Last time I checked, it was 200 something.
Yeah, it's in 300s now.
Yeah, and so what happens is when you borrow money, because that's what you do for shorting, you're borrowing up a stock, and then you pay it back later. And so if it goes down, then you won't have to pay anything back later if it goes down enough. You'll actually make money. So that's kind of the point of shorting it. And then you want it to short because or else you lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the motivation for manipulating markets. And big companies, CNBC and some other ones, started to call Wall Street Bets and whoever disagreed with them bigots and stuff like that, which is not unusual nowadays. But they did that, and so people got the impression, oh, Wall Street Bets is to blame. But it was the opposite. Hedge funds are the ones who have always been doing this.
Yeah, so that's what happened. So let's take a step back. So when the price went way up, Wall Street Bets kind of got everybody to buy, hold your position, and that caused the price of GameStop to go way up, and then causing all these hedge funds to potentially lose billions and billions of dollars.
Right, because they're paying. Well, that's the thing. Once you borrow, that's how you short. You have to borrow it. Once you borrow the stock, you're going to pay interest on that, on what you borrowed.
Yeah.
And so if it's even just lasting a week or something, I think you pay a lot more. So in the end, you could ultimately lose all your money.
Yeah. Oh,
and then pay some. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you can actually pay more. You could actually have to pay more than what you initially you tried to buy if you try to short somebody.
Yeah, and the thing is that usually people, they're small time sellers. They don't know everything. Their whole life isn't on the market. Like a lot of these guys that they make billions. They know what they're doing. They know how to manipulate it, but they need the little guy's money, or else there's no money to take.
Mm-hmm.
So Robinhood comes into play, and it's like, well, why did Robinhood even start up? What benefit is there to Robinhood? And it seems that they just take your betting information and put it into a giant hedge fund. I forget the name of it now. What's the big one that just went under and got bailed out by another?
Citadel bailed out Melvin.
Melvin. Okay, so Melvin, I guess.
Melvin was the first one, and Citadel has a they have a relationship with Robinhood. Robinhood, one of the ways Robinhood makes money because it's free transactions.
Oh, you're disappearing.
Oh, am I coming back?
Your voice.
Hello. Yeah, I only got one bar right now.
Yeah,
am I back?
Low.
Is it still bad? Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay. So one of the ways Robinhood makes money because it's zero zero transaction fees, is they sell the right to trade with their people with different companies. So even though I'm still choosing to sell and buy independently on my own on Robinhood, when I go try to trade, they're giving different companies first dibs at trading with me. Because people want to trade with Robinhood users because they're not as savvy. We don't make good trades. We're not as knowledgeable. They're just millennials, going into. So they sell those rights to. Yeah. So they sell the first trading rights to Citadel. Citadel's like licking their chops. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna, work with all these noobs who don't know what they're doing.
It's not brand new. They've been doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying that's the relationship with Citadel. They have a relationship with them. So when Citadel's about to lose all this money. I mean, Melvin is. Citadel comes in, bails out Melvin. They kind of tell Robinhood to, hey, stop the bleeding. We don't want you to sell any more of these stocks. Just allow people to sell only, not buy. That's what it was.
And that's where it gets really confusing. There was a guy that came on, I forget which channel. I'd recommend people to check out Louis Rossmann on YouTube. Just type in that name, Louis Rossmann. And he viewed a video. I don't remember what it is. It's like some financial show, and they interviewed somebody from Robinhood to give his side, and he did make a good case. It wasn't totally. It made some sense. I'm saying so. I'm giving some benefit of the doubt there, but it's still not totally sure. He says that they stopped giving sales of GameStop because they couldn't cover it anymore.
Yeah, so there is some other reasons why Robinhood probably suspended, and not only Robinhood, there's other brokerages that also suspended the sales.
Yeah,
but there's some shady dealings because there is some contact between Citadel and Robinhood. That if anybody asks them,
there's that conflict of interest there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's what really pisses everyone off. It's like this isn't right. Like we're talking billions of dollars. This seems too flagrant to do. Like you're not caring.
Yeah.
So I think there is there's definitely collusion going on. So even if you can't prove it, it's just too easy to pull off without anyone knowing that I think this is a huge conflict of interest that should be regulated.
Yeah.
So
people have been manipulating the market, especially these big hedge funds, forever.
And that's the thing. Ultimately, you lose like $50, let's say, or $100. Your life goes on, even though you're not a rich person.
Yeah.
But when millions of people are doing this, and losing $50 here, $100 there, there's just a few who are collecting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're kind of manipulating you.
Yeah, it's all this money from all these millions of little people are going to just a couple of these big hedge fund managers, and
it gets so complicated. Like, there's just the way shorts work. It's not like as simple as saying I'm going to invest in a company. You know what I mean? Like that's a little more direct. And when it comes to shorting, it's more indirect and derivatives and all that. Yeah, it's very indirect and very hard to follow for the average person. So they can kind of get away with it, Even when we see it today, like when politicians they get mad at big tech and stuff, they don't do anything. They just kind of finger wag because they don't even understand what everyone's so pissed off about.
Yeah.
So I don't. Maybe they know this because.
And that brings up
Wall Street's been on for a while.
Yeah, and it brings up a lot of questions too, like even about politicians. Should politicians even own shares of stock?
Yeah, in my opinion, they shouldn't. They're public servants.
If you're public servants, and if you're making like regulations that could be affecting the market, you shouldn't be able to play in that market.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Conflict of interest.
Yeah, exactly.
You can say, "Oh, yeah, I do have stock here," and that's why we're not regulating that company.
Exactly.
But it's not. They're to say, well, that's not why. Okay, I'm impartial person.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you say so, but you still have rights to your privacy. We can't look through all your stuff, and I don't think that we should be able to just look through everybody's payments just because they're a public servant.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, hey, let's just make it so that what motivates them to go into politics is not. Going into the private sector immediately.
Yeah.
You notice that? Like, they all go into the private sector, and they're all these, like, they're giving money for being an advisor. And it's like, how?
That's a true career,
Yeah.
All right, well, that's kind of out scope of our...
Yeah.
Outside of the scope of our usual...
video games.
Of our tech news, but it's just because it was on the internet and it's so huge everywhere, I thought, it was interesting
to
look
with
into
GameStop of all things.
And GameStop is what the main one.
Did you hear about the kid that ended up getting a lot of money and anonymously like giving a bunch of. He went out and bought a bunch of Switches
Oh
and
yeah,
gave them to a hospital for disabled kids. Kids
that's
suffering from
nice.
like I think it was cancer or something
So
like
he
that.
made money off of GameStop stock, and then he went out and
Yeah,
bought Switches for some hospital. That's nice. That's a good story to come out of it.
yeah, really, really nice.
Alrighty.
So,
So what do you think of it, Poot? Have you heard anything about the story? I just want to know if people who haven't been following. Do you guys understand
About the
whole?
guy that bought the Switches?
No, about just this thing in general. Does that make sense?
About the Wall Street thing?
Yeah, Wall Street bets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I followed it as much as I could,
Yeah.
and I finally gave up. Because when I found out about it, I posted it on on our Discord, and Radioactive Man answered back.
Yeah. It's been going
So
back
that's
and
how I
forth.
was like, oh, so he's been following this.
Yeah, I think it's just been everywhere. I think it's been because even on my Twitter feed, it's everywhere. Nobody knows about stocks or anything. They're just everybody
Yeah.
has. So, all right, guys. Well, let's move on then to our next topic and our last topic for the day, and that's going to be Konami. So there were some reports that came out this week. I forgot who first reported it. Konami has been doing some reshuffling. They got rid of a couple divisions in their video game departments, and it was kind of reported that they're not going to be making video games anymore. Then they released a statement later saying that no, they just restructured. They're still in the video game business, but I don't see it. I mean, even if you just look at they don't have any upcoming video games. They have I think PES football is getting an update in a month or two. They had a couple mobile games. They haven't released a console game since Metal Gear Survive or something in 2018.
2020, last year they did games.
Did they? I know they published a skeleton game.
They did the Contra games.
A new Contra game?
The one on the Switch, what was it called?
Oh, Contra, the new one where the 3D one?
The one that came out last year, yeah.
That's right.
Oh.
They did have one last year, huh?
Contra.
Rogue Core.
Rogue Core, there you go.
That one on the DS was really good.
But it was
a
developed
while
by a
ago.
different company. It was published by Konami.
Yeah, they've only
Yeah.
published a couple Rogue Core, yeah. Came out on the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And it looks nothing like Contra. There's a panda in there.
There's
Yeah,
that's
they don't
not
care
at
about
all.
it.
No.
I mean, that's not the first time Contra has had little animals.
Yeah, but I mean, so right now I just feel sad because Konami is one of my favorite companies of all time, developers. Some of my favorite games are from the Metal Gear Solid to
Silent Hill.
Castlevania to Silent Hill to it's just those by themselves. Then of course there's Contra, the old Contras especially, Suikoden. I mean,
Suikoden. Yeah.
Bomberman.
Holden.
You said Sudoku. You said Sudoku.
Zone of the Enders.
Oh, I loved it. I had that one for the
PS2.
Nintendo Advance, the Game Boy Advance. They had one, and it was a weird sort of a strategy, sort of in the vein of war. Was it Tiny War?
What?
Oh,
Yeah,
Advance Wars?
Advance Wars.
Yeah, Advance Wars. But sort of in that vein where you choose the area, your character, and you move to that area, and then you if you're higher or lower, then you defeat them. But there was a mode where you could say, okay, I don't want to use the higher, what is it? My ship is better than his ship, so then we do the roll the dice, RNG, that type. What you could do is there was a cursor, and you would have a blue cursor, and there was a giant red cursor, and you had to move your cursor, and while the giant red cursor was moving and tried to avoid it. And if you avoided it, then their attack would miss. Or vice versa, if you're trying to hit them, you had to make your cursor stay inside of the other cursor while it's moving, and then you would hit them based on that. So either you can let it go by stats, whether you win the battle, or you can do this little mini game to win the battle or lose.
I played that one. That was a good game. It was Zone of the Enders on Game Boy.
It was a Game Boy Zone of the Enders?
It was a Game Boy Advance Zone of the Enders game. It was really
Really?
good.
I didn't even know they had made
Really
one.
Yeah, I
But
really enjoyed it.
Konami, I'm just sad. I know they came out and said that there's a chance. I mean, that they're still making games, but come on, they're not making anything. They're better off selling their IPs to somebody else.
Well, they're doing really good with their
because they have other businesses than games.
Yeah, they make a lot of casino machines, slot machines, a lot of them.
And they're a huge pachinko machine maker in Japan.
Huge pachinko machines. So in America, right here in Lemoore, the Palace, they got a lot of business. They got more business, making more money at the Palace than they probably did making their last game. So
probably. I mean,
well, no, I think they would make like $1 billion off their video game.
Yeah, if they.
But how much?
Yeah, if they expanded there, that's the thing. I think they don't want to leave Japan, and they're just too small.
But think about it. Yeah, they make $1 billion selling, making a game. But you make one pachinko machine, which you're not selling that pachinko machine to them technically. You're renting to them long term.
Right, only in Japan where that's popular.
But in America, it's a slot machine.
They make slot machines.
The Palace right now has 200 slot machines that are Konami. That's money that they're renting to.
But it's probably just a small monthly
big money
fee
here because there's so many companies competing with that. And pachinko, they have the market. They own everything.
Well, I'm saying they own the market of pachinko, and they got their foot dipped well in to the market in the U.S. with slot machines. So, I mean, if they're making more money in that than in video games, why not drop the thing that they're not making as much money as selling pachinko machines and slot machines? Yeah, drop that.
Yeah,
that thing that's kind of sucking money.
I would agree, except that it's easier to make let's say a gambling machine here in the United States than it is to make a pachinko machine, which has a lot of
it's mechanical,
non-digital mechanical things. Whereas with the US one, they just copy paste it. They could use if they wanted to. Konami could say, let's make a Castlevania and
I've played Solid. Whenever I see Konami at the casino, I like Konami. I light up and I sit down. Their machines suck.
They do. But they suck to us because we're used to that video game.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to other
market that they're selling to, their video game, their slot machines have a lot of like perks. Like, if you do this, you do this, and then there's a mission within a minute. It's kind of like pinball games where you have the really simple pinball machines, then you have the Terminator 2 pinball machine where if a little kid is playing, all he knows is they hit the balls. But if somebody who knows what they're doing, that machine is like, there's all these options. Konami puts a lot of options in their slot machines, and people love that. They love going on the missions and getting a little bit more for their money, not just putting it down and getting 3 cherries.
I miss pinball machines. I love playing pinball, but I always sucked at it. Were any of you guys good at pinball?
I was really good at the digital pinballs. I like digital
pinball. I can get good at, but I could never get good at real physical pinball.
Yeah, you got to tilt the machine.
Yeah, or is that like a legal move? You're supposed to be able to really do that because you could do that in digital.
There was anti-tilting.
Yeah, in some tournaments, the machine says if you tilt it more than once, it'll actually lock down. Your flippers will quit working, and you'll lose your game. But they allow it to you can do so many.
So that's a real strategy, is to tilt the machine. Like, oh wow.
And some people don't allow it. Some people say no tilting. Some people say you get 1 tilt per quarter or whatever.
I love video game pinball. Freaking the first Game Boy Kirby pinball.
Oh yeah, Kirby, Metroid pinball. That was awesome.
Alien Crush on the Sega Genesis. That game was amazing.
Awesome. Mario had him
Devil's Crush and Alien Crush.
Sonic had a pinball game.
Yeah. Those are fun games.
The Kirby pinball game was awesome.
I remember being sick and having to stay home for a week with something. All I did was lay on the couch and play Kirby pinball.
I think we may have borrowed it from you at one point.
Maybe. That game was amazing.
I think my brother borrowed it from you one time, and we were just like, he was on it. But the Metroid pinball was actually pretty cool. That was for the DS. When the DS first came out. Was it the DS or... Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
The first...
It was on Game Boy when I played, I remember. Dude, but Konami... Oh, Gradius. They also made Gradius, man. I love Gradius. Life Force.
Yeah. The
Salamander. Yeah.
Those were awesome.
So I'm bummed. Even though they haven't really been making stuff anyway. Metal Gear. Solid games. Metal Gear games.
Yeah, so does this mean Metal Gear is dead?
It's dead.
It's been dead for a while.
Somebody needs to reach over there and say, "Can we buy the IP?"
hope-
Nintendo needs to buy
I hope-
that IP.
I hope they'll sell it. I know they have. They also have the rights to TurboGrafx, right? Did they make the TurboGrafx Mini? It was Konami, right?
Yeah, they own Hudson. Hudson
Okay.
Soft.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were making Game Gear.
Yeah.
What did they make on the Game Gear? They made a lot of games on the Game Gear.
Game Gear
I
also.
remember Hudson Soft pop up.
Yeah, I think. I remember for sure the TurboGrafx 16, the Hue cards, the Hudson Soft cards.
Yeah. Oh, they made
And
Bonk
they
then.
own it.
Did they make Joe and Mac or something, or the Caveman? They had a Caveman game.
Yeah, that was more for like the Western market to try and get the TurboGrafx to sell.
Well, R.I.P. Konami.
Hopefully. Well, you know what? Sega or Microsoft has been on a rampage with buying stuff up. So
I thought
maybe
they'll buy
Microsoft
it.
will turn around and be like, "Hey, you have a lot of software. We can reunite the Dreamcast on some of your stuff on the Dreamcast because they have Bomberman Online."
Bomberman, wouldn't that be perfect for streaming? Some streamers should get on Bomberman. Let's do it.
Oh, that Bomberman R. Was it Bomberman 100?
No, I don't remember that.
Have you seen that?
Is that like a
It's
like
the Bomberman
Is that like a what's it called? A battle royale game?
Battle Royale, yeah.
No, is that a real thing?
It's only stuck on either Stadia or one of those platforms.
What? That's a real thing?
Yes, it's a real thing. And I'm like, why is it stuck there? I mean, yeah, maybe a limited time here and then it'll go to other places, but don't stick something that wonderful on a limited.
We should get together to play some Bomberman and stream some. Sounds fun.
Yeah, Bomberman was awesome.
All right, guys. So now for the part that everybody's been waiting for. I'm gonna have to make a theme song, or actually, you should make a theme song, Teeter. I should just take some weird Teddy quotes and slap them together with music. The Odious's treats, everybody. Applause. All right, the Odious, what do you have for this week?
Well, today I went out, did a little bit of shopping. And,
good for you.
People, they're idiots driving, and
there are some idiots.
Something happened, and I was like, I was obviously waiting for that thing, and the person just, and I was like, oh, so I was like, you know what, don't argue. There's another parking right over there, and it just made me think.
Someone stole your parking
never
spot?
argue with an idiot, huh?
Someone stole your parking spot?
It wasn't my parking spot. I was waiting for an area, and they decided to go around, which caused another car to back up, and it just caused this huge stuff because this guy just didn't want to be patient.
Okay.
And everybody would have got where they were going, which made me decide to get out of there and go somewhere totally different because it caused like 3 or 4 cars to just back up. I'm waiting for this guy to back up so he can go, so I can go straight, so I can get the other parking spot. This guy is sick of me waiting, so he wanted to go around, which caused that car to stop, which caused another car it was a big cluster. So I was just like, you know what? I told myself, don't argue with an idiot because they're going to drag you down to their level, and then they'll beat you with all that experience at that level that's down there because they have a lot of experience being down at being an idiot, and I don't want to go to an idiot's level and then him beat me with all that idiotic experience. So I just stayed where I was and moved on. And then I had to think, like, some days you're the pigeon, and some days you're the statue.
Thank you, Teddy. That was beautiful.
And today I decided to be the pigeon. And then when I drove by, I turned my windshield wipers on and some water sprayed out.
Did you really?
I do that. Like when people are behind me in the car and they're tailgating me, I put on my sprayers.
And it goes behind your car?
Yeah, it goes right up and over and hits if they're too close, their window gets wet and they're just letting you see their windshield wipers go on. I'm like, hey, you're too close. If you weren't that close, it wouldn't get you.
Passive aggressiveness, all right.
But it's not.
I was expecting a joke, and
I'm cleaning my windows, and if you're close enough and it's affecting you, back up.
All right, and Gainer, we got Gainer's gift up next.
My gift for today, my useless fact, is that in Denmark, the highest mountain in Denmark is 560 feet tall.
Denmark.
Useless for you to know.
That's the tallest
not that
mountain.
tall.
The tallest.
That's like a hill.
That's a
It's like a
hill. Yeah, what? Denmark. Where? They don't have mountains in Denmark then? Just plains and little hills?
What?
Poor
It's like,
Denmark.
what's the highest mountain in Kalinga?
Probably much higher than that.
There are no mountains.
There's hills in Kalinga.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
Kalinga.
You know how Kalinga got their name?
How?
There were 2 areas where they used to mine coal.
Oh.
Coaling Site A and Coaling Site B. After Coaling Site B closed down, they kept Coaling Site A and just change it from Coaling
Is that true?
Site A to Coalinga. Yep, true.
Is that
I
true?
think
That's true.
Theodia should give gainers gifts from now on.
That's a great gift.
Look it up.
Coalinga is Coaling A?
Yeah, Coaling Site A. Coaling.
It's not
A.
spelled like. Is it spelled like a
Yeah.
coal?
Yes.
COAL?
No, it's Colinga.
Yeah,
Coalinga?
it's not the same.
Coalinga.
It is? It's
Yeah,
literally
Coalinga.
Coalinga A?
Yeah.
It was
Coaling
formerly
Site
known
A.
as Coaling Station A,
What?
Coalingo, and Coalinga Station.
Wow. Go Teddy.
The more you know. Dun, dun.
All right. So we also got Teddy's bonus gift to us today.
I tear him down, then I lift you up with some education. It's an open face sandwich.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. Thank you to Teddy, Gainer, and Pootanannies for joining me. This is Dirt McGirt telling everybody thanks for watching Scattercast. Follow us on Twitter at ScatterbrainST. What do we got coming up this week? Probably some more Sea of Thieves live stream, some more D&D live stream, and put up some Grounded. So I still have some Grounded videos to post and some Phasmophobia to post. And I also want to probably live stream some of the Medium.
Oh yeah, I would love to. Yeah, we should get
Yeah.
on that and do a dual stream and
Yeah, for
not
sure.
a dual stream, but I could get on there and just talk because I would love to go.
Yeah.
Backseat you on that game sometime.
That sounds good. You can backseat me all the time, Teddy. All right, guys. Thanks, and have a good night. Goodbye.
Good
All right, good night.